We will see you in 30 days land. We are about to cross 3,000 nautical miles of the North Pacific Ocean. It's open water all the way. This is a route that few sailors attempt each year, and the reasons become clear once you're out there. Okay kids, food's up. I want to bring you along for this journey, the real version. The good days, the tough nights, and everything in between. When you're out there, there's nothing but ocean in every direction. You learn to read the weather differently, to trust your boat, to find the rhythm and constant motion. The North Pacific has its moods, and we'll be learning to work with them. Out here, the ocean operates in its own terms. Weather systems move across thousands of miles of water, building strength as they go. The North Pacific is remarkably effective at teaching humility. It doesn't matter how confident you are at the dock, 3 days offshore and you remember your place in the natural order of things. Still doing 6 knots at the moment, which is pretty fun. But it's pretty spicy out there. For the next several weeks, our 40-foot boat will be our entire world.
So we're about a third of the way through.
Salty. Yeah. Everything we need is on board. Food, water, fuel, and the skill to use them wisely. And I want you to experience this crossing with us. What it's really like to be out there.
It's so amazing to be out here.
The decisions we make, the challenges we face.
We've had about 27 knots on and off.
And the moments that make it all worthwhile. So come along sailing with us. Let's see what these 3,000 nautical miles have in store. This is our passage to the Pacific Northwest. Here we go. Previously, you were here with us in La Paz, Mexico, as we stocked the boat with 40 days worth of food, filled up our offshore first aid kit, welcomed Scott and John, 2 crew members who'll be joining me for the crossing, and checked out of Mexico.
We're out of Mexico.
Now, it's time for the moment we have been waiting for.
Let's go!
Today has been a long time coming. I can't wait to get going. Bring on the first night. We are off. We're all checked out, tips done, about to pick up anchor, hydrovane's all ready, dinghy's on the bow, outboards on the back, so yeah, nothing left to do. All right, all good? Ready?
Okay, forward.
What I'm looking forward to is just disconnecting. I'm pretty much eternally on my phone. I'm really looking forward to kind of leaving that behind while we're out at sea. Making some new friends along the way as well. I've been watching Teulu for about just over 1.5 years now, and it feels a little bit surreal to be going out to sea with Zach. So it's quite fun though. I'm really looking forward to this trip.
What I'm looking forward to, the experience is what it's all about really for me. So most of the sailing I've done has been around the UK, and with the exception of a couple of charters. So really it's about getting some proper blue water experience, I suppose. That'd be the biggest thing.
We're about 10 miles outside of La Paz at the moment, and I'm going to start making food. One of our favourite dishes to do on passage is a gnocchi anchovy chili kind of recipe. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. Onions in, then browned up, water's on for gnocchi. Just grated some limes and a little garlic and chili powder there as well, and a bit of pepper there, which we're going to put in the sec, and then the gnocchi. Dump everything in, let it do its thing, makes this like pasty sauce. Then I'm going to dump the gnocchi in here, and then add all the veggies back in here, stir it, put some seasoning on top, and we're good. and then knock it in. Dinner. Doesn't look great, but it is really good.
It is currently night 1 and we're just kind of exiting the Sea of Cortez at the moment. Just got the Genoa and the main up. We've got about 10-12 knots on our side. We're still motoring a little bit because we've got a lot of current against us at the moment, but it feels good to get the sails up and hopefully we get the motor off soon. But it's a lovely night at the moment. It's super calm.
We couldn't really hope for a better start to this trip. I'm always happy to have calm seas and flatter conditions to start with, just to get everyone used to it, but it's lovely out here.
Good morning. It's currently 20 past 5 in the morning, and I started my shift at 3 a.m. So over halfway through my first shift on first ever night shift on Teulu. Very light winds. Going 4.7 knots, and we've only got 4.1 knots of wind, so no wind. Got the engine on. We've been motoring since about midday yesterday. Yeah, and we are slowly making our way south down the Baja Peninsula, Baja California Peninsula, to make the rounding and get out into the Pacific Ocean proper before we start making more westerly and then heading north. But yeah, it's a stunning morning.
Night 1 is done and that went pretty well last night. I probably got 5 or 6 hours sleep, which isn't too bad for a first night on passage. We motored a good bit of it, but the wind's kind of slowly filling in now. We might end up pulling in, going at a little bit more fuel just so we've got as much as we can for this crossing, but yeah, not too bad. It's a beautiful morning here, about like 9 knots on our beam, so yeah, making good progress.
Oh, nice, yeah. Becka. Oh, yeah, it's something. Yeah. It's not big. It's something. What is it? Have I just got rubbish on it? It's got to be something.
Alright, sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it's something. Oh, it's a little. Yeah, bonito.
We don't want that, do we?
I don't know, like, great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, mate. Oh my god. These aren't that great eating, really. Right. People use them for like bait fish more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Alright, off he goes.
Yeah. Well, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's loads of what looks like plastic in the water. I'm not too sure what it is, but I think. Let's have a look.
Oh yeah, it's some organism. Oh no, is it? Oh, weird.
If anyone knows what this is, I'd love to know.
It looks horrible.
Don't eat it.
No, I wouldn't eat that.
Despite carrying 500 litres of diesel on board, due to the delay in checking out yesterday, we ended up leaving in a bit of a light patch. So thought as we were passing Cabo, we would drop in and top up what we had just used. And after a kiss of the last dry land for the next month, we were off.
The wind has finally filled in. It's about to kill the engine. First time for a while. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. That's right.
It's a bit of noise, isn't it?
See if I've got actually good movement on this or not. It's feeling great out here. Got 18 knots at the moment and we're sitting about 5, but hydrovane is working beautifully. Hasn't skipped the beat since we put it on, so pretty happy about that. And the wind is slowly coming around, so we're going more and more towards the west, which is good. Let's hope we don't get pushed too far south today, but if we do, we do, so we're all right either way. But yeah, bring on night 2. We are just about to round the point at Cabo. It was meant to be one of the rougher sections. So far, touch wood, I don't want to speak too soon, it's actually been not too bad. We meant to have kind of 6-foot seas, and then the underlying period was big enough that it wouldn't have really done anything to us. But we're almost past it, and I think by the time my shift rolls around at about 11, or at least by the end of it, we'll probably lose sight of land, and then tomorrow we'll be definitely out of sight of land. But the aim at the moment is the wind's kind of blowing directly from where we want to go, so we're going almost south at the moment. We're kind of going south-southwest, more south than anything, but through the night the aim is to kind of come up into the wind a bit more and start heading where we want to go. But everyone who's done this route over the last few years has kind of been pushed south initially, and then as they kind of get further out, the wind kind of changes a little bit and they can start pushing back up eventually north. So we might kind of look like we're going the wrong way over the next few days, but there is method to the madness.
We will see you in 30 days land.
We're just, as you can see, rounding Cabo at the moment, and the wind just picked up to 34 knots. Oh my god. And it is pretty wavy at the moment. It's a little bit windier than we thought it was going to be, but mizzen's down, main's fully reefed, and the head sail's fully reefed, and we're still sitting at, what are we doing at the moment?
6 knots.
Still doing 6 knots at the moment, which is pretty fun. But it's pretty spicy out there here, but the hydrovane is doing beautifully.
Oh, we got 5.2 long.
Let's slow down a little bit. That depth is also not right, hopefully.
Yeah, it should be in a couple 100 meters of water here.
As you can see, we're on the lean a little bit at the moment, but we're sitting about 5 knots, kind of 50-60 miles away from Cabo at the moment. Seas have calmed down a little bit, and so's the wind, but God, it's a little bit crazy in here at the moment. It's kind of hard to see how much we are actually leaning, but yeah, about that much. There's not that much here, but yeah, last night was good. Good little test of the boat. hit 34 knots at most. Sea state was pretty funky and all over the place, and we had everything. The mizzen was fully down, and then head sail was fully reefed along with the Genoa as well. But yeah, good first night. I did not sleep that well on my first shift at all, but managed to get 5 hours in afterwards. I'm making some toast now, and I'm gonna go sit back outside because it's a bit nicer out there. But the Dodger is holding up beautifully. It's keeping us so dry. But I still managed to get one splash over it into my cabin last night, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, everything else is good. Nice to have the motor off, and we're making some good headway west now. It's slowly coming around, and I imagine by the end of the day we'll be kind of going northwest-ish. So yeah, Canada, here we come.
You're kidding me.
I'm not sure if he's heard me or not.
It's so in there. Oh my god. Okay, can you get the pliers?
Today's been much the same. It's kind of gusted up to 25 here and there with some sustained wind kind of up to that, but it hasn't been too bad today. The sea state kind of, we thought was getting better at one point, but it got a little bit worse again. But it's about 5:30, so making dinner. Doing an easy meal again tonight, which is doing a pesto pasta, just a jarred one because it's still a little bit rough and I don't want to be down here cooking for ages. As you can see, I'm still leaning quite a bit. That's how I'm standing. But yeah, hasn't been a bad day. It's been pretty chilled. I had like kind of naps throughout the day. Hooked that shark as well, which we just about got off all right in the end. I had to kind of half reach into its mouth with some pliers to get the hook out, but it swam away happily. So hopefully doing any more of those. If we do, I'll change the lure and see what else I can do about it. It is the end of day 3. Conditions are pretty similar again to last night, maybe a bit less. Sea state's still pretty big at the moment, but we're actually finally heading pretty much west now, so the wind is coming around, which is nice. But yeah, we've got reef in the head sail, fully reef main, and a reef in the in the mizzen as well. So yeah, we're a bit more prepared tonight than we were last night, which is nice. But it's about 25 knots at the moment, so yeah, we're going along at about 5 knots as well, so making good time. But the sunset again is lovely. So yeah, all good on day 3. Everyone's kind of getting used to the motion of the boat now. It's currently night 3 at the moment, and it's about 20 knots of wind or so. We're sitting pretty nicely right now. It's still pretty wavy, as you can see, but yeah, it hasn't been a bad night so far.
By the morning, the sea state had eased and we had a bite. Let's hope it's better eating this time.
Hold it. This actually big. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, keep going. Don't let it run. Keep going. Don't let it slack. Go on, keep going. Oh, yes, it's a good tuna. Like, let me get the gap in it. Yeah, I got it. Woo! Get it up in it. Woo! Yes. Big gap. Yeah.
We just got our first fish. I think it's a little yellowtail, which would be amazing if it is. Or big eye, maybe.
That'll do. Not too bad.
Thing.
Oh, I should really have cut and bled that actually. Oh my god, this is such a slab.
Oh, that looks so good.
There's one portion.
That's such a beautiful red, isn't it?
Yeah. So Mahi?
Oh yeah, try that.
Hold on.
Poisonous? Poisonous?
No, it's good.
It's not tainted. Oh yes, please.
I'm glad I got to test it first.
Don't cut myself with a knife. There we go.
That does taste good.
Oh, that's fatty. It's like butter.
You won't die in vain, fish.
Sweet, that's pretty good.
No.
We'll see through it.
Yeah. Yeah, not much left on that.
Alright.
Over he goes. I wonder if that shark's still following us and get our feet off that.
Could be. It's been a pretty good day today. That fish was a great morale booster, but the conditions have been a lot nicer today as well. The wind's been no more than about 20 knots. We haven't really had any reefs and sails at all, and we've been actually making a little bit of progress north finally, but it's pretty normal for this route for us to be pushed south before kind of coming around. But we've been doing about, I don't know, 280 degrees, so a little bit past west at the moment, but over the next few days we should start curving around a lot more, and then by the end of the kind of first week at sea we should be kind of pretty much heading kind of a northwest-ish position. We kind of looked at long-range forecasts. We might get some more sporty conditions kind of midway through the trip, but yeah, happy with how much progress we're doing. The boat is getting very, very salty, and it is noticeably colder out here than on mainland, and the sea temperature as well has also dropped by about 5 degrees so far to about 20, so still not bad. But yeah, I have no idea what kind of fish we're going to get further up north, but we'll put the line back in probably the day after tomorrow. We've had enough tuna there for at least 2 big meals. wasn't too bad last night. It kind of peaked at one point during my shift again, and then went back down. Because it started off like kind of high teens, 20s when I took over from you, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then I put one more reef in it because it started pushing like mid again, and then dropped back down.
What's lovely with your setup is you've got quite a few variables. You know,
Yeah.
It's not just one reef, it's like 3 reefs in the main. You've got plenty to change around. And the thought last night that you could change at least two lots without having to leave here.
Exactly. It's quite nice having that mostly or fully reefed, and then everything can be done from in here.
Yeah. The only thing is, I know that if I'm going to touch them, you'll wake up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all right.
It was like this morning, I thought I'll just leave it a little bit longer.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the only downside of this cabinet. It's noisy with all the reefs. I can hear everything. It's the main I can't actually hear that well. That's better though, humming along now. 5.2.
Did you get onto windy or not?
Oh, I might have.
Well, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Just
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I was loading it up. It wasn't trying to get us current spot, so.
You think about how you normally sail. You'll
be looking at it every 20 minutes. Like, there's a change. And now it's like, oh yeah.
My phone is just struggling to get my location. I don't know. Oh, no, there we go. Got it. What's the wind right now at?
18, 19, that's apparent, so maybe
16?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go off gusts then, because that's probably the closest. Yeah, so it's very much coming from the northwest, especially where we are here. But then that changes quite a bit. So it's coming that way, but as we kind of get here, look, it really starts changing here and starts backing there, which is only another couple hundred miles. It starts really changing.
That's not too bad, is it?
No.
It's another 2, maybe 3 days.
People often ask us why we choose passages like this. Weeks at sea, taking whatever weather comes our way. The truth is, there's something about being days away from land that strips everything down to what matters. Out here, the world becomes beautifully simple. Wind, waves, navigation, rest. The water beneath us runs miles deep, and somewhere in that vastness, you find clarity that's impossible to capture on land. For these brief moments in time, we stop being observers and become part of something that's infinitely larger than ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Fish. It's a bit easier if I help with the green one from here as well. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, nice.
It's about 3 in the morning at the moment, and I'm getting near the end of my watch, but we've had about 25 knots at most. It's been very gusty. It's kind of dropped down to like 19 knots of wind and then picked back up to kind of 27 or so. We got a reef and everything at the moment, and boats sitting about 4 knots again. But yeah, another fairly easy night. A little bit bumpy again, but nothing too concerning out there. No schools or anything like that yet, and no big container ships nearby. So yeah, just still wavy.
As you can hear, we've got the engine back on.
which is a little bit annoying. The wind's kind of dried up a little bit today, but this should be the last day of less wind for a while. But we're gonna make the most of it and finish up this tuna that we got yesterday, and we're gonna have some tuna steaks with mashed potato and some spinach. So should be a mood brightener. But
Those are the tuna steaks. And then we got these bad boys for dessert as well. They're pretty good. Beautiful.
it's been a bit of a motoring day today, but the wind's finally filled in about 6:30 or so, and it's kind of going up to about 20 knots or so, but it's really nice to get that motor off at last, because that was a long day. And we started motoring at about 8 in the morning and just turned it off about 6, so yeah, nice little change. And so hopefully this kind of stays for tonight. It's kind of dropping and going, and we're just about heading west, so yeah, hopefully we can start going properly north again at some point. But we made a good few miles back north, and we're kind of in line with Cabo again now. But it's beautiful out here right now. What a day. Almost the end of the first week.
While crossing the Atlantic a few years ago, Becca wrote this poem, and as I sit here and stare at the horizon, I can't help but rehearse the lines in my head. It goes, "Do you think the ocean knows? We are floating on her wave highs and lows. Do you think she sees us coming? Following the wind, our sails running."
Do you have to eat your pasties we put this up?
We should do, really. Or at very least be eating scones.
With jam first.
Jam first, exactly.
Do you think she minds us being here, drifting over every roller coming near? Do you think she knows where we are going, as she guides us along, her colour wowing?
Pretty sure that'll be the first appearance flag this part of the Pacific.
Yeah.
Do you think she sees our whole shape now, as we follow our course, stern after bow? Do you think it tickles her surface, as we sail miles to find our purpose? Do you think she questions her power and might on a lone watch shift one full moon night? It seems quite clear by the tell of the sea that the ocean knows far more than me.
Sitting about 5 knots with about probably 13 on our beam at the moment, so pretty perfect conditions. And as there hasn't been any wind over the last little bit, the sea state is beautiful at the moment. This is the nicest sail we've had so far, so yeah, let's hope the wind starts coming around. But we're kind of on a pretty much westerly heading. We're at 280 degrees at the moment, so hopefully it swings around a little bit more, starts coming more from the east, so we start making our way north. But it's what it's meant to do in the next few days at least.
Made a big curry, got a load left over for the next few days as well, when it gets slightly rougher, which would be nice. But this is our current state of all our fresh fruit and veg. Got quite a bit left still. We had to throw out a few little bits today that went off, but got a load in there still. Fridges are still pretty full.
and we had bets today about how long it's going to take us to get in, and we're kind of thinking end of the month or early June at some point. So I think anywhere from the 1st to the 4th, so a bit more than kind of 20 days or so from here we'll get there. But I'm feeling good about all the provisions as well. It's always a bit nerve-wracking when you're trying to figure out how much food 3 people are going to eat for 40 days or so. But yeah, I think we've got plenty of food. I think we're going to have loads left over. We've barely touched any of the tins, and we made brownies cookies yesterday and they were really good. But yeah, wow, it feels lovely right now.
Whenever we go have lunch, we just hope to.
Hey.
Oh, no shot.
I'll get the lid for yours.
Don't worry.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine. 3 weeks on, 1 week off for the whole year. They've literally just been smashing it, but they've been going out on all the turn to starboard boats, the different boats, including cruise ships.
Well, they went all the way from like comp crew to yacht master, basically.
Yeah, in the 6 month.
Why?
Because
they wanted to.
Well, basically, I mean, it's a thing they do for vets. It gives them an opportunity to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they can go on and get work within the industry.
That's cool.
Or carry on and just volunteer.
It's been a bit of a slower night. The wind's only kind of been getting up to 12, 13 knots or so, but it's been quite a nice change from the real windy conditions we've had recently. But boats sitting kind of fairly slow at the moment, but only going like 3-4 knots, but it's quite a nice change. It's a very calm night. It's the easiest night we've had so far. Full moon out. All the sails up, just going along gently. There's definitely worse places to be. We're about 600 miles into the trip so far, and I wanted to know what you guys think and what is your most challenging moment so far, and then the, I guess, best moment so far.
Shall I start?
Yeah, camera's pointed at you.
Challenging, probably communication with home. That's probably the thing I found most difficult.
That's fair enough.
Having had so much contact normally, that's probably the most challenging. Best bit, I think it's every time we turn the engine off, get sailing again, really. And the tuna, that's been pretty much up there as well. That's got to be that's probably one of the highlights, definitely.
That was phenomenal.
Oh, for me, definitely feeling a bit of like slight seasickness at the going around the Cape, but definitely like when the sea states like calmed down a little bit, and I got on top of taking seasickness tablets, I bounced right back and I feel great, which is absolutely fantastic. So that was probably the hardest part for me. Best part, yeah, I think getting the engine off and sailing, and yeah, just enjoying the quiet and time, being able to actually enjoy time as well, like the passage of time, like, because everything is so distracting on land. There's always something, always like your phone or something like that to distract you, whereas here there's not a lot, and it's good. I like it.
It's been 1 week at sea now. We left last Tuesday and the wind has finally filled back in, which is really nice.
It's about kind of 20 knots at the moment. We've got reef in the main and mizzen, and last night picked up to 27, but this wind is going to be pretty consistent for the next week or so now, which would be nice, or maybe even more than that. But we're actually making some good miles north, which is good finally, because the last kind of week or so we've made a little bit of distance north, but it's been mostly kind of going out to sea to kind of start getting out into better wind and better weather than close to the coast. So yeah, I can't believe we're going to be on this tack for kind of 9-10 days or so now, which would be nice, but it's going to be slightly on heel for the next week or so. But this is what it's looking like outside at the moment. Everything's a bit wet.
Jellyfish in the water. Loads of them. I think they're called blue bottoms. They're like spongy colours. They look like loads of them.
It's currently night 7 and we've just had some wind starting to pick up now. We've been kind of trading along at kind of 3 knots or so, with only like kind of 10 knots of wind for the last probably 8 hours or so. It's just starting to pick up again, so there's meant to be pretty consistent wind for the next 2 weeks after this bit, so hopefully this is the start of it. We actually start making some miles north again. This is definitely the fastest we've gone so far. We're kind of hitting 7s here and there.
Oh, nice colour.
Come in.
Oh,
Beauty.
that is gorgeous.
Happy days. That'll be alright.
Excellent.
Not a bad little mahi, first one. Not a bad size for 3 people, but it's be a couple of meals hopefully. But the blues on him are amazing. Haven't caught a mahi since Sandblast, which is over a year ago now, so we're pretty happy about this.
I'm gonna make some Mahi Mahi burgers with some buns that we still got, some cheese and some other bits like that, but that's what we want to do. We've been talking about Mahi burgers for the last few days, so our prayers were answered. But I'm gonna grill these now and then let them assemble their own burgers.
Okay kids, food's up.
Wow, look at this. We're going for one of these baps as well, yeah?
Yeah.
currently day 9 and the wind has really started to fill in over the last few days, and last night we've been averaging kind of way above 5. We've been reefing pretty heavily at night like we did last night, and kind of just had fully reefed main and mizzen and a bit of head sail out and kind of still sitting at around 5, but then during the day we are flying along. We've got the smaller jib, the radial cut one, out, and it's just an absolute weapon, that thing. We're flying upwind at the moment. It's probably about 20 knots of wind and we're doing about 6 upwind at the moment consistently, so it's making a big difference. The hydrovane's performing really well, but the water and waves are pretty bouncy at the moment. There's meant to be some of the worst stuff this week at the moment, so hopefully it gets a little bit better, but the boat's handling it really, really well. But yeah, nothing else to report on. Weather's getting a bit more cloudy, a bit more cold at night. We're pretty much halfway up Mexico now. But yeah, apart from that, all good. We're just getting on with it at the moment, and I guess in about a bit over a week we'll be about halfway, which is a pretty cool feeling. But we're making some real good miles now, north and northwest, which is really good. It's been a really enjoyable few days though. Been flying along. Those Mahi burgers yesterday were, I think, our best meal we've had so far. Hopefully we get another fish in the next few days. We've got a little bit of Mahi left over from that. But yeah, all good on board, cracking through the miles. Yeah, almost out of Mexico, which would be nice once we kind of start hitting latitudes along with California. That'd be a nice feeling. I feel like we're actually kind of really making some good progress, but yeah, we're flying along at the moment. Mahi pasta bake. It's currently Wednesday 14th and today's been a pretty good day on board. I had a really nice tuna Mahi pasta bake, which is really good. Starting to kind of really get into the passage now and making some really good headway. We've done like kind of 130 plus miles each day over the last couple of days, which has been really nice. But the time has been really funny on passages. If you've ever been on a passage before like this, you kind of understand what I mean. But the days fly by, but the minutes creep by, which is kind of weird to think about. But yeah, we kind of get to the end of the day and we get to the first like night shift, and I don't really understand where the whole day has gone. But yeah, it's really nice. It is flying by the time now, but I'm missing Becka a little bit, so it'd be nice to get in end of the month, beginning of next, and I'm really looking forward to some of the places around BC to go and cruise. It looks phenomenal up there. I was just looking at some of the anchorages where it kind of, the entrance dries out as the tide goes down. You've got a stern to, and it's tiny, but it looks amazing, so can't wait. But I've got a good amount of time up there before we move on, so I can't wait to go and explore that whole area, because it's meant to be some of the best cruising in the world, so bring it on.
Any more on that? There you go.
Okay, that's good.
That's fine.
It's about 6:15 at night at the moment, and we're kind of getting ready for the end of the day, but the wind's kind of veering around a lot more to our side now, and we've made, this is our best mile day by a long way. I think we're going to end up doing near to 130 to 140-ish, especially if we keep this pace. But we're flying along. We've got the new head sail out and have trimmed it a little bit better, and it's
At the moment, the apparent wind at about 80 degrees is saying 22, and we're doing like 6s at the moment, which is pretty good for this boat. I don't really know what it's on. We might have some current with us, but I'd be surprised if we have much current with us out here. But we are flying along at the moment. We were doing like kind of 7s at one point and then put another reef in the main. It didn't really slow us down that much. But this is probably one of the fastest days upwind sailing I think we've ever had. So it's been pretty good. But the hydrovane has been performing flawlessly as well. The sea state is a little bit choppy and bumpy, but this wind's going to persist for the next kind of week or so. But this is what it looks like out here at the moment. It's not a bad sea state. Occasionally we get a big wave coming over and hitting on the Dodger here, but we're so happy we built this. We are super happy that we had this Dodger for this, because we would not be outside in any of this wind. It gets a little bit intense kind of sitting out in 20 knots or so, but under here it's perfect. We're not getting wet in here or anything like that. Conditions have lightened up enough. We're going to shake another reef out of the main. It's kind of only at like 16 knots of wind now, so yeah, let's get a move on. Okay, shake out there. All right. Sorry?
Just wondering about the head sail, whether that could just be wound in a bit.
Yeah, maybe a tiny bit, hey?
It would be a
Yeah, nice, pretty good. It's currently about 2 in the morning. We've had about 27 knots on and off here and there, and so I didn't really see that well on my first bit because we were kind of reefing sails a little bit more. Main's fully reefed at the moment, and the mizzen is also fully reefed as well, and the head sail's got a little bit out, but we're still kind of flying along at the moment. But it's been pretty uncomfortable tonight. The sea state has been very bumpy and choppy, but make good headway. So yeah, this week was going to be a bit of a wilder week, but we are making good headway, so can't complain too much. But apart from that, all good. It's got noticeably colder though tonight. I'm in a lot more layers than I have been, so I think we'll probably start putting the companionway boards in soon. Probably getting these Peter on before the end of the month, before the end of the week. So yeah, definitely a change now. So I haven't really filmed that much today. Just trying to kind of catch up on sleep from yesterday, a lot today, but yeah, last night was a bit of a long shift. I probably only got a couple of hours of sleep before 3 in the morning, and then my shift ended, and then I got a good bit of sleep, and I've had a few good naps today, but I'm feeling a lot better. We had enchiladas for lunch, which is really nice, and made some more cookies, which is great. But the weather again has been all over the place. We've been dropping and taking reefs out of the main all day, and same in the mizzen as well.
but we're still making good progress, which is really nice, and we just crossed 1,000 miles, so we're about a third of the way through the passage, which is really nice to know. We have lost a bit of our progress north and we're being pushed a little bit more kind of west now than anything. We're at about 280 at the moment, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully it'll kind of swing around again in the next few days. The sea state is about the same as what it was, maybe a little bit better. It was pretty messy at points last night and kind of all over the place. Part of the reason why none of us really got a good night's sleep, because it was very slammy and short period. It's probably a little bit better now, but yeah. Yeah, it's been a good day though overall, but just tired. I'm looking forward to having another good night's sleep tonight, hopefully. But yeah, bring it on. But this is what outside is looking like at the moment. The boat is getting very, very salty now as well. Spot there they found. Get out of the wind.
Oh yeah. Oh, he'll rest up good there. Hopefully. Pick it back up again.
I bet it'll stay there all night now. This squid just flew in and hit us. Crazy. That absolutely smashing the wind. That's the impact. That's crazy. It's so loud. Well, he's left like a little bit of a bloody mark on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wind over the last few days, like I've said, has been bizarre. It's during this shift, during this night watch, has been dropping down to about, I don't know, 10 knots and then going up to about 28. So there's a lot of reefing and unreefing sails to kind of keep speed up. So it's a little bit annoying. It's not the easiest thing to be doing throughout the night, but yeah, hopefully this wind chills out over the next few days and we either get consistently like kind of medium wind or consistently high wind, because it'd be easier either way. But yeah, it's also getting a lot colder again. I know I've said that, but it is fresh at the moment and I'm not used to it, so I'll have to put the diesel heater on the next week or so. But yeah, apart from that, nothing else to report. Full moon, which is nice, and I think our bird friend is still on the port side deck, so we'll see if he's still there in the morning. Today's carried on much like last night, but we're actually getting some schools now. And we've had our first bit of rain for probably 9 months or a year. It's probably quite good for all the standing rigging and all the windows to get a bit of a rinse off. That's what's left of the school out there. Didn't get too much though, only probably increased by about 8 knots or so. Something on passage I've been meaning to make for a while is focaccia, and we've got a super simple recipe that we've been using over the years for focaccia that we got given on the Atlantic crossing actually. And all it is 500 grams of flour, 500 ml of water, 8 grams of salt, and 8 grams of yeast, and then obviously some stuff sprinkled on top and olive oil. But it's really easy. I'll leave the recipe down below. Flour. This is what it's looking like. I need to put some dimples in it, rosemary it up, and then a bit of salt as well, and then in the oven. I'm just going to warm the oven up first. That's alright.
It's about, I think, 11 days or so since we've left, and this coming Tuesday, Saturday today, is going to be the 2-week mark, and that should be about halfway on time as well, which is quite nice. But yeah, we've been screaming along today. It's about, I don't know, kind of gusting up to 25 and then going down to about 15 knots or so. But to deal with that, we've got a fully reefed mizzen, 1 reef in the main, and our just smaller jib out, which has been really pulling us along. Sea state's not too bad. It's a bit all over the place. When we kind of lose the wind and go down to kind of 15 or a bit lower occasionally, there's a little bit rough here and there, but it's not too bad. But hydrovane's working brilliantly. Haven't got a fish in a few days, which we would like. The focaccia for lunch was really nice. But yeah, kind of getting on with it really. The boat's handling it really well, which is nice. I wouldn't really want to be doing this kind of crossing in anything smaller than a 40-foot boat, because it'd be a little bit savage. Or a catamaran, a smaller catamaran I guess, because it'd be smashing the bridge decks on these waves. But yeah, it's kind of hard to convey what the sea state is like out here. We've kind of got used to it now, and I think it looks a decent size, but on camera it just never really comes across.
It just doesn't look like there's anything, really.
Feeling a little bit tired, but apart from that, everything's good. I'm kind of slowly starting to sleep better again, but there was a few nights where it was a bit rough, and we just constantly sail changes throughout the night, and it was a little bit challenging, but it's not too bad. But missing Becka a little bit, but I know she's having fun in Seattle at the moment. But yeah, it won't be too long until we start really turning the corner and going north now, so hopefully in the next kind of few days we might have some bigger waves coming on Monday, Tuesday from a gale that was off California. But yeah, hopefully we don't get too much of that. We might be kind of most of the way out of it by the time the waves start coming down here, and we won't get the wind, but we'll just see what happens with it. I mean, we should be able to deal with it. It wasn't going to be much bigger than the waves we had yesterday, and we can still deal with those. But yeah, all good on board Teulu. I've also been thinking as well, I haven't told you guys our kind of like routine at the moment, so I'll go through mine, but I tend to wake up about 8 at the moment. I'll go through the day, but wake up at 8, have a little bit of breakfast. We normally do our main meal for lunch, and then people kind of snack in the evenings at the moment. So we normally serve it up about like kind of midday to kind of 1ish. And then I might have a little bit of a nap during the day. John and Scott also have a nap normally. Scott's normally in the morning and John's normally in the afternoon, and then John comes on his shift at 7, and then I take over after 4 hours at 11, go through till 3, and then Scott goes from 3 till 7. And yeah, that's kind of the basic plan of the day. And then a lot of reading, watching movies here and there, cooking and cleaning kind of takes up a bit of time as well. Whenever we get fish, that's pretty good. We've only got 2 edible fish so far. We obviously didn't keep the shark, and Benito's not great, but been looking a lot into kind of anchorages and places and things to do when we get into Victoria. I know Becca has as well. Also been turning the Starlink out every few days and calling family back home and stuff like that. And I've been messaging Becca on the sat phone most days about how she's been doing. But yeah. It is currently Sunday afternoon on 18th of May, and we are really starting to turn up north now. The seas are getting pretty lumpy at the moment. There's a gale warning off California, and we're going to kind of get the tail end of the waves over the next few days, so it could be kind of interesting, but it should be alright. We've had bigger waves in this boat before, over the bow and stuff, so yeah. And then after this it kind of gets a little bit better and better, and we start pointing more and more north, but it's pretty nice to kind of see that we're like actually making more of a beeline now for the kind of Vancouver area. We've been kind of going northwest at best for the last kind of week or so, and we're finally rounding up to about 3:30 sometimes. I've turned down the autopilot a little bit, or the hydrophane a little bit, but yeah, wow, some of these waves are beautiful. It's currently gusting about 30 knots or so. We've got the mizzen down and the main's fully reefed along the Genoa as well. It's about kind of 5:15, so we're kind of starting to get ready. 6:15 even? 6:15. It's about 6:15, so we're starting to go into night shifts now. Sea state's a little bit interesting at the moment, but it's meant to get a little bit better, but it's definitely not the worst we've had on board. But yeah, it'd be nice when this calms down a little bit, because it's a little bit hard to do things at the moment.
It's currently Sunday the 18th at the moment, and we're about, I think, a bit over 1,300 miles into the crossing now, and tonight's been pretty good. It's been a pretty normal night, a couple of sail changes. We've got everything fully reefed at the moment because it's kind of gusting up to 28 or so. I'm trying to keep the boat a bit more comfortable whilst people sleep. But yeah, it's been a bad shift until watching some kind of TV and listening to podcasts and bits like that. But yeah, it's been a lot better than it has been a couple of nights ago. It's kind of nice. We had this bit of a lull. People get some nice sleeps, but yeah, it's still rolling a lot at the moment. But I kind of get used to it now. I've got some bruises and like my hips and weird places where I've been leaning up against stuff a lot. But yeah, it's a workout to constantly stay upright and keep going, but the boat's been doing really well. I'm really happy with the hydrovane. It's just, I haven't had to think about it. It's been pretty hands off all shit, apart from just the odd reef and the head sail, and that's about it. So yeah, not too far away from halfway now.
It is currently Monday the 19th in the afternoon. I haven't really filmed that much over the last 24 hours because last night was pretty bouncy and rough. I probably only got a few hours sleep, and I've had a really big nap today, which is really nice, and the sea state is finally calming down, but we're kind of over, I think, touch wood, the worst of it now in terms of kind of wave action. That gale of California did send some decent sized waves that were kind of almost breaking over the Dodger, or at least spraying a lot over and getting the cockpit soaked. But it's definitely calmed down a little bit now, and the wind has calmed down a little bit as well. And wind's not so much of an issue because we can deal with that with reefs, but yeah, it was just those waves were a little bit interesting at points, but hopefully tonight we sleep a little bit better than we did. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're kind of halfway on miles and on days as well now. It'll be next week we get in, end of next week we get in now, so that's kind of crazy to think about. We're only about, I think, about 1,200 miles away from Victoria, so yeah, everyone's feeling pretty good about that. Morale's pretty high even after last night as well, but we've got a few interesting days. The wind's meant to kind of die over the next kind of 3-4 days, a little bit here and there. So on this Wednesday, Thursday, we might end up motoring a little bit, and we're going to be kind of more beam on, and then at the end of the week we're going to be going north and northeast, so directly for Victoria and that whole area, which is crazy. At the moment we're almost going directly north. At the moment we're about 330, we're constantly going at the moment, so another 30 degrees we're going directly north, and then we'll be kind of bearing that off over the next like week or so. So yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff, really. Hopefully we'll get some slightly different conditions as well, hoping for some downwind and bits like that. But yeah, overall everyone's good and the boat's good, although a little bit salty and a bit damp in places because we've got some waves over and some 1 or 2 unexpected leaks, but nothing too crazy, so we'll just have to fix those when we get into Canada. But it's still a bit mad out here. Overall though, all good.
Make yourself useful. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
It is currently the night of the 21st, or early in the morning on the 21st, and I haven't really filmed that much over the last kind of day or so because it's been pretty rough and bumpy and everyone's been pretty tired. I've been pretty tired as well, but we're over halfway of miles by a good way now. It's only about kind of 1,000 miles as the crow flies direct to Victoria, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, the conditions are feeling like they're calming down. We might potentially be motoring in a couple of days, which seems a little bit crazy at the moment given the current waves and wind. But it's also got a lot colder over the last few days as well. Sea temperatures kind of dropped down to 18 degrees, so it's really starting to get chillier as we go further north. But yeah, it's kind of the home stretch now. We should be in next week at some point, which is pretty exciting.
Morning. It is day 15 or 16, I think, at the moment. We've just about gone over halfway, which is absolutely fantastic. It's so amazing to be out here. These last couple of days have actually been quite rough. 30 knots, you know, for the most part, gusting up to 30. But yeah, kind of average wind speeds around about like 25. So we've just been on like a reef jib or Genoa and full reef in the main, no mizzen. Just kind of been trucking along, heading northwest. We've got some points from our weather forecaster that we're trying to follow as best we can, given the wind that we've got, and yeah, making our way north up to Victoria. But yeah, it's It's quite nice out here at the moment. The wind's died off a little bit. I don't know how much, because we have on this boat a wireless wind instrument at the top that runs off solar power and Bluetooth down to the controls down here. At the moment, I don't think we're quite getting enough solar because it is quite overcast during the days. And during my shift, it starts at 3 a.m. Usually it bums out, and I don't have any wind instruments for my shift. This morning it went at about 20 past 3 and my shift starts at 3, and yesterday I think it went out at around about 5. So the other two guys, they have wind instruments for their shifts, but for me I don't, which it keeps me more awake as well, because I'm more in tune with listening to the wind and how the boat feels. And yeah, it actually is quite good for my sailing as well, because I'm not just looking at a screen, I'm feeling the boat and feeling the wind in the sails and feeling how the boat heels over and feeling how if she's overpowered or underpowered or just sitting quite comfortably. So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, but it's been quite fun. But yeah, we're on the downhill slope now. We're coming into the second half of the trip. We've probably done over 1,500, 1,500 nautical miles at the moment. Probably got around about the same to go, maybe a bit less. But yeah, now, I think it was this morning or yesterday roughly, that we are now closer to Victoria as the crow flies than La Paz, where we left. So we are definitely making our way north and getting up there, which is super cool. Got the beanie on. We've gone over 30 degrees north, and it's definitely getting a little bit cooler, especially in the night shifts.
Now picks up.
Just guarantee.
2 weeks, 14 days, 336 hours since I left and felt solid ground underneath my feet. Time moves differently at sea. Without the markers of land, no buildings, no traffic, no schedules imposed by others, you discover your own natural rhythms. The sun indicates the wake period. Aside from your watch at night, darkness tells us when to slow down. You learn to trust in ways you've never had before. Trust in your vessel, trust in your skills, trust in the ocean itself. Every sunrise is a gift, every sunset a celebration. Every mile covered is an achievement earned through cooperation with forces beyond your control. 2 weeks at sea, and I really understand why sailors speak of the ocean calling them home. Because out here, stripped of everything except what you truly need, you discover who you really are. And somehow, that person is both smaller and larger than you ever imagined.
It's Wednesday 21st at the moment, I think, and the conditions have really calmed down over the last kind of 24 hours now. Wind's also chilled out a lot. We've only got about, not even 19 because we're going into it a little bit. Probably about, I don't know, 15, 16 knots at 60 degrees at the moment. We're sitting about 5.5, which is really nice, but it's night and day difference now.
from what it should be. So much better. At the moment we've currently got our wind at about 60 degrees like I was saying today, and then tonight it's going to die and we're actually going to tack and start going northeast, which is going to be really nice. We're going to ignore that little tack there. We've got some lighter wind bits coming up as well, and then from the 25th of May, Becca's birthday, we've got downwind pretty much all the way in, some more heavy downwind coming in, but we can hug the coast a little bit more if it does get a bit more spicy. But yeah, it's saying we're going to get in about 10 days or so now, but we've got pretty ideal conditions for the end third now, which is amazing. So hopefully no more crazy weather like we've been having, but yeah, it'd be nice to have some downwind and some slight change of tacks and all that kind of stuff.
We've been on this one tack now for all of the trips. It's going to feel bizarre when we finally change the other tack early hours of today, early hours tomorrow morning. I think I'm still a bit tired and not making sense, but yeah, it's going to feel really weird kind of changing that and not leaning always to port, so looking forward to that. One massive morale booster on board that we've got, which I can't believe we didn't have on any other big crossings, are these like kind of instant packets where you only need like egg and butter, like brownie mix and stuff, and oh my god, look how good those look. They've made rougher days so much better. God, 24 hours out here makes such a big difference. The sea state is beautiful and we've got 17 knots or so and we're just humming along about 5 or 6 knots, but pretty ideal open ocean weather at the moment. It's just fantastic. It's been definitely some of the best sailing we've had all trip so far, but yeah, just wow. Absolutely amazing. Telltales are beautiful, boat's sitting perfectly. Yeah, pretty perfect day. Might end up motoring a bit tonight, but can't really complain that much about it. We should just motor into some other wind, and then tonight on my shift we'll probably end up tacking, which is gonna be a really weird feeling not heeling to port the entire time, so it'll be a nice change for everyone. But yeah, wow. Lovely halfway bit to the trip, or slightly over halfway now.
After about 1700 miles on this tack, we're finally about to change to the other tack. The wind's just shuffled around enough so we can almost do it, so and it keeps on going. So I think before the end of my shift and when Scott wakes up, we'll furl the head sail and change tack, which doesn't sound that exciting, but it's pretty exciting when we've been heeling over to port for weeks and weeks now. So it's a pretty big moment, changing tack and actually making a bit of a beeline now for Victoria. So yeah, as far as night shifts go, it's pretty exciting.
That's very odd indeed.
Why is that? So,
Well, no, being on this tack.
oh right, yeah.
Sadly, Scott's enthusiasm couldn't make up for the wind dropping, and so on went the motor. However, with some hot engine water, it gave us a good opportunity to do some clothes washing.
After last night saying we were going to tack at the end of my shift, we actually didn't end up tacking till about 8 in the morning. And then when we did, we ended up having to motor for quite a long time. But it's about 3 in the afternoon, or maybe about 4 at the moment, and the wind has just turned on and it's going from the direction we can just about deal with. So we're actually hooning it along about 6 knots for Teulu, which is pretty good. And I think we've only got about 13 knots of breeze. I think we've got some current with us or something. We're going a little bit faster than we should really, but yeah, it's pretty nice. And we're aiming almost directly for Victoria now, which is an amazing feeling. So we'll start crunching down the miles, and if we start, or if we keep up this kind of pace, we'll be in like 9 days. But yeah, look at this.
16 knots of apparent, and we're going about 5, or 15 and 5, which is pretty good. I'm pointing kind of northeast at the moment, but we're really pinching the wind pretty hard as well, which is nice.
It's currently 2 AM on the 23rd, and we tacked yesterday morning, but motored quite a bit during the day, and then got the engine off about 3 or 4, and we've been kind of sailing not too bad. It's been slightly on and off the wind. We've kept the engine off just about, and we're currently heading, I think, about 15 degrees at the moment, so pretty good northerly heading, which is nice, but the wind's meant to come more from the northwest over the next kind of day or so. We might get a few light patches here and there, but this coming week we should have some pretty nice conditions coming into Victoria, maybe some heavier wind and bigger waves on our final approach over the last few days, but it's kind of too far out to tell at the moment. But yeah, can't complain too much. It's been a pretty easy night shift again, but I hope this wind kind of gets more consistent tomorrow, because it'd be nice to be sitting at more consistent 5s instead of dropping down to 3, and then yeah, but it's been a pretty good night.
It is currently Friday the 23rd, and we are currently going about 40 degrees northeast at the moment, and we just had a look at weather, trying to figure out how we're gonna basically do the next kind of 9 days or so. It's about 900 miles now, a bit less than 900 miles to the entrance of that Vancouver Island inlet area, and there's a few different high pressures around which are causing the wind to kind of change every single day, and we're trying to figure out how's best to basically sail and motor over the coming days, because we're going to have to motor some little sections here, but we basically came up with the idea that we've got to pinch the wind as hard as we can to north, and if we lose the wind tonight, or when we lose the wind tonight, we just end up motoring directly north, and hopefully about this time tomorrow potentially we might start having some downwind, which will be pretty nice, and then hopefully we can ride that downwind for a couple of days, and then we don't really know what's going to happen after that, because the forecast has been changing so much. There's basically 2 kind of high pressures which are kind of fighting each other for where they're placed in relationship to the coast of the US and Canada, and so one of them is getting pushed and squeezed against the coast, but we don't know how far that's going to go over, and if it's really tight against the coast it could be good for us, but if it gets pushed a little bit further out it might be bad for us. So I don't know, it's going to be a bit of an interesting kind of last week to it, but we're just going to see what we get given. Overall though, we can't really complain, because it's been pretty nice weather the last few days. It's gotten way colder again. Overall we've gone pretty far west, obviously, to kind of get out of the coastline of Mexico and the US. But we're going to put in all of our northerly miles, or at least half our northerly miles, in the next kind of week or so. So it's going to get a lot colder than this, we think, in the coming days. And it's been really dropping every single day, but might get down to about 10 degrees. But apart from that, it's beautiful out here at the moment. Woo.
The wind had dipped and changed angle, which, despite meaning we had to adjust our primary sail plan, meant that it was time for our much loved spinnaker to make an appearance.
I think we can probably go neutral.
Yeah. Well, here we are, day 18 or 19, as we have to spin. We're just coming out on the other side of the Pacific High right now, and we are just coming back into the wind. It's still pretty light, but probably got around about 5 to 6 knots, maybe 7 knots of wind right now. Just enough to keep the spinnaker open, and we're probably coming at around about between 4 and 5 knots, which is quite lovely. Yeah, just actually getting rained on ever so slightly, so I'll probably head back to the cockpit. It is very nice in here now. It's the first time I've done this on this whole trip. Yeah, it's quite comfortable.
With 16 knots of breeze, we were starting to feel overpowered with the 3 sails up, so it was time to bring the mizzen down. We were waiting for the wind to fill in this afternoon, and I think it's just started to properly fill in, and we should have this wind now until about Wednesday, which will take us through to obviously about halfway through the week, and Saturday, if we keep the pace up, we're hoping to get in. So we've got to kind of get a little bit of a move on, because on Saturday afternoon the wind really picks up and it goes up to like kind of 40 plus knots. We're in a little bit of a rush to get there, but hopefully if this wind persists, we should be able to average like kind of high 5s and get in just in time. So fingers crossed it kind of keeps up now until Wednesday. We've got a good amount of fuel left, so if we did motor the last little bit in order to kind of keep up the speed over ground, that'd be fine, but ideally we'll be sailing most of the way now, so fingers crossed. But we've got a bit of a weaving course. We're basically trying to keep a course at 340 and then going more north and then northeast as the wind changes. So yeah, I'm glad the wind's finally showed up.
It is currently about, I guess almost 3 in the morning on the 25th, and at the start of my shift the wind was like slowly filling in from our port quarter. It's really filled in now, and we're actually probably averaging about 6.5 at the moment, which is really good. It's kind of what we need to be doing if we want to get in on Saturday. So it's also Becca's birthday today, so happy birthday Becca. I will see you in a week. But yeah, it feels good to be really hooning along now. We should make up some pretty good miles. This might be our best day in terms of miles so far. Yeah, we're definitely moving.
Good morning. It is currently around about 20 past 4 in the morning. And we have our contact on radar, which is quite interesting because there was absolutely nothing on AIS. But we have a fairly large ship that I've acquired just off our starboard, currently going about 18 knots. But it's going to pass. It's going to pass to our aft. Just behind us. Looks like a container or a cargo or a tanker or something. Yeah, it looks quite large, and there's a bit of lights on the horizon. So yeah, it's nice to know that we've got the radar. Because yeah, that was not showing up on AIS at all. So yeah, it's quite good that we've got the radar. Otherwise, it would be interesting, because I think the CPA is about 2 miles, so it should be fairly close. But yeah, they look like they're going to the afterbus, which is good. So I'll keep an eye on it, and but yeah, bit interesting. For them not to be on AIS. It looks like a fairly large ship.
It is exactly, well, it's actually this week we're getting in now, which is pretty crazy. It's day 20 at the moment, so we've made up pretty good time. We're expecting to be over 30 days, but it looks like it's going to be around 26 days or so, which isn't too bad, all things considered. It, yeah, really could have been way above 30, maybe 35 days this crossing, but we've had relatively good weather in terms of wind and like how far we had to go out to water wire before tacking up, so it's all worked out pretty well. But I think we're on a 340 heading at the moment because there's a long skinny section of high pressure and we're trying to figure out which side we're going to go. We're thinking we're going to go to the west of it and then go up, and then when we're kind of almost in line with Victoria, then cut in and go there. The bad weather's been pushed until kind of Monday-ish, but we still want to get in plenty of time, so we're still aiming for Saturday, Sunday, and around that time, so it gives us plenty of time in case the weather does come forwards again. I haven't really filmed much over the last day or so because it was the night before last, we had a cold front come through, and the wind was all over the place, and we were changing sails all night. But yeah, it's a beautiful day now. I'm very much looking forward to getting in 5-6 days, but we've been very lucky with this passage, so can't really complain too much. Not bad, little focaccia pizza. Everything on board is so salty. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. This big silver one. Yeah, okay, slowly up.
Slowly up.
Yeah. Okay, make sure that bag doesn't go flying when it comes out as well. Okay, yeah. Okay, let go this, let go.
Yep, there we go.
Come on. Don't get caught in it. Hey, there we go. Okay, there we go. Come on. Okay, hold it there for a sec.
We knew this passage was going to be anything but trade winds. But at this point, we had done close to 100 sail changes. The wind was incredibly variable in both directions and speed. And when we thought it was stabilising, it would change again. It was definitely keeping us busy.
On Saturday, there is a really big system that's coming in about midday with about 45 knots and, well, the wind's not a big issue because we can reef for that and we can deal with that. So 45 is a lot, but it's fine. But it's the sea state that comes with it. It was going to be like, I can't remember exactly how big, but it was going to be like kind of 5 meter seas or something like that. I'll put all the exact kind of data up. I'll take some screenshots now of it and post that, but we might have made it in time to kind of get just in front of that, but a lot of things have had to line up so we would have been guaranteed to get in. We think we have enough fuel for it as a start, but it would have been close to like kind of keep on motoring and really bombing there to get there. Secondly, if that weather had moved forward at all, we'd get hit by it. And also we're just depending on the boat being perfect and doing everything it needs to do. No tearing sails, no engine issues or anything like that. So it's been a pretty hard decision to make, but we're actually going to detour 100 or so miles south of there. No, about 200 miles south of there to Newport in Oregon, and we're going to weather out this heavier weather there over the next kind of 3-4 days, and then make the final bump up to Victoria the following Wednesday or so. So we're getting in this Friday, hopefully. We haven't made any preparations to check into the US, so we're trying to figure out how to best do this, because you're meant to get a special kind of B1, B2 visa for the US, but we haven't got that. So we're currently talking to the Coast Guard and stuff like that and trying to figure out our best options, but I think it's going to be all fine. We just need to kind of see and figure out, but I'll keep you updated tomorrow. Becca's kind of doing it on shore for me at the moment, and then she's going to send me some forms to fill out. I think we're going to have to stay there for a little bit and just kind of figure out our next step after that. We can either day hop or do another like kind of 2-3 day sail up around Victoria, but those straits and that cape just on the northwest corner of Washington are meant to be pretty notorious, and so in that bad weather it's probably not a great idea. And so we've always said that if we've got a doubt in our mind about doing something, we probably shouldn't be doing it, and we should probably err on the side of caution, and that's what we're doing. We probably would be all right going in there, but is it worth it when we've got this kind of like good backup option to just duck into Newport here? It's only 380 miles away from where we are right now, instead of 500 miles all the way to Victoria. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go there, clean the boat, refuel, do our laundry and stuff like that, get some sleep and relax, because I had probably slept about 4 hours last night. It was a bit of a night just thinking about what to do and kind of really debating, but I think safety comes first, and I think we'll be much better off just dipping in here instead. But yeah, we changed our tack now, and we're about 64 degrees, which will take us directly to Newport, but we're flying along at the moment. We're doing about 6.5-7 knots, kind of broad reaching all the way there, and we have got really good winds over the next 3 days until Friday. So it's been a really tough decision, but I think it is the right decision. I know Becca's very happy that we've made this decision, and I think at the end of the day we've got to kind of think about the crew and the boat and what's best for everyone, and I think this is the best decision. There was doubt in our minds, and yeah, I think when you've got doubt in these kind of things, it's hard to make this decision, because we're all looking forward to getting into Victoria. I'm looking forward to seeing Becca. That will have to wait a week now, but it is what it is, and I think it is the best decision. So yeah, we'll keep you updated.
I think we made the right decision when we're seeing speeds like this.
Making the call to divert course. This stings. Just days out from our destination, and here we are, turning away from where we want to be. There's this nagging voice that whispers failure, that maybe we should have pushed through, maybe we're being too cautious. But then I remember something we said almost 4 years ago, when we made that first difficult decision to turn back across the English Channel. We looked at each other and said, pride has no place on our boat. 4 years, 10,000 plus nautical miles later, and those words have never been more true. Teulu has been an absolute powerhouse this entire trip. She's carried us through conditions that would have seemed impossible when we started. But 15-foot waves at an 8-second period, hitting us on the beam, that's not seamanship. That's Russian roulette. For a boat like ours, there's a genuine capsize risk. The seas don't care about our timeline. It doesn't care about our plans or pride, but it will always respect good judgment.
Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is turn around. Sometimes wisdom looks like disappointment from the outside, but feels like coming home safe on the inside. We'll get there, just not this week.